Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my first impressions of the all-new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 here. Let's go ahead and jump in. Now, in case you were not aware, this is of course the fourth generation of the Z Fold model from Samsung. They announced it August 10th and of course opened pre-order after that, which I did in order to take advantage of all of the crazy deals that Samsung was offering at the time, which as I was ordering my phone, I went ahead and took advantage of all of those credits to add on the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. I also added the Galaxy Buds Pro 2. I'm very much looking forward to sharing that review, the review of those with you. And also ordered the Galaxy Z Flip 4, which is on the way and should be here very soon. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this phone itself. Starting off with the design. Now, nothing particularly new here, or rather nothing drastic in terms of physical changes when compared to the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. It looks essentially the same all the way to the back. Now, the camera module on the back here is a little bit larger than what you had on the Z Fold 3, but other than that, it looks pretty much the same. Of course, it's not the same camera. Here you have that 50 megapixel. We're going to get to that in a moment. But in terms of first impressions, because I'm so used to foldables in general, there was no big wow. Sure, I'm still impressed by some of the stuff included in the making of this phone, and just overall, I'm impressed by the technology, the folding technology that we have here. And the very first one that I'm going to bring up, which I always do, is just the fact that this guy here is IPX8. That's rated IPX8. That is still mind-boggling to me. How do they make it so that this guy is water resistant, right? Well, to a certain extent, right? So it's just so wild to me that, you know, this thing is water resistant. But anyway, I digress there. So a few changes here and there. The aspect ratio on the inside is slightly different, not necessarily noticeable when compared to the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, right? So you have that very subtle change. But on the inside, one of the main changes that took place that I actually very much like under that display camera that we have here now on the Z Fold 3, it's very noticeable depending on the page or the angle. Here, it's good to see that they were able to hide that even more, right? You still get a 4 megapixel camera there, and picture quality may not be what you get from the main camera, but picture quality also seems to be better here. I took a few shots and just looking at it, definitely better than what you were getting with the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Another improvement that we will find here is the hinge. You could definitely tell it's sturdier than what we had on the previous gen. Maybe not by that much, but it's always good to see that they're constantly improving that technology, right? It's already, you know, cutting edge technology, but to see that Samsung is constantly working in making this even better than the previous gen is always good. And by the way, do me a favor and hit both the like and the subscribe button there. I truly appreciate that. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about here is the crease, right? So some people are saying that it's better. I don't know. For some reason, it still looks the same to me. It could be just me, you know, maybe because of my little OCD, but it doesn't change the fact that this is still very impressive technology. You know, there are certain angles that you put them in, that when you put the phone in, you're not able to see. Also, when you just have the phone and you're just using the phone as you typically would, you completely forget. So if you are an iPhone user and you know the notch, you know how when you start using that after about 8 seconds, you forget that it's there. That's the same thing here. So as you use this, you completely forget that, you know, you have that little crease. It doesn't really protrude with anything, right? You can always do, even taking down notes using the S Pen here, you'll still be able to do that with no issues, even as you go over the crease. Now, talking of the S Pen, of course, it is compatible with its own S Pen here, which will work on the main screen, but not on the outside screen there. Now, speaking of the outside here, this screen has also been expanded a little, right? Not necessarily like they made the phone wider or larger, but it's not a drastic difference, right? The feel of it when you use it still feel kind of narrow and tall. If you are paying close attention, or if you happen to just have the Z Fold 3 next to it, you'll be able to tell the difference, right? So you'll be able to see that the bezels, right? So the edge there is thinner than what you find on the Z Fold 3. Now, going to the camera, of course, camera is good so far. I took some random shots and they are coming out pretty clean. And on this module, what you have is a 50 megapixel lens. That is awesome. Then you have the 12 and 12, right? So that is really good. Even though you cannot compare, not that you cannot, even though it's not necessarily close in terms of comparison with my Ultra, the Z Fold, my Ultra here, it's still an impressive camera, right? So we all were wishing that they would, you know, pretty much put the same camera on here, but it didn't. But still, this is still very impressive. And still sticking with camera, of course, you get a bunch of cameras. You get the main camera module, you get the selfie camera that's on the inside, and then you get the other front-facing camera, which is also a selfie camera. So that's always awesome to see that they have there. Now, in terms of the platform itself, what you're looking at here, of course, is another Qualcomm chip, and this is a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. In terms of performance, so far performance, I mean, we shouldn't really have a segment in the video for performance, because as you would imagine, performance is just good. I will be doing, you know, more thorough testing so that when I come to you with my full review of the phone itself, I'll be able to share more details in terms of performance and gaming and all that good stuff. I did do some level of gaming here, and so far, so good. No problems. In terms of display, I'm gonna say that that's actually where I was very impressed, right? Not necessarily because they did something really different this year. It's just that I had forgotten how good this display was, right? Like, I got rid of my Z Fold 3 maybe a month and a half ago or so. And, you know, it's been a month and a half, and I just had completely forgotten how good, how beautiful this display was. So far, my favorite thing about this has been the display. Other than that, you get the typical physical features, right? So you get the dual speaker setup, you know, each side here. You have a USB Type-C port, of course. My version here, my model, this particular unit is 512 gigs. Again, that goes along with pre-ordering the phone ahead of time, which, by the way, if you need to go ahead and pick up this phone, make sure to hit the link in the description. I will put the link in the description for you to check out and see what other deals Samsung has going on this phone here. But anyway, so typical stuff, right? So 512 gigs, and this is coming, of course, loaded with 12 gigs of RAM. It is a monster of productivity. We will be testing that even more and sharing more details in the next video. Other than that, that's pretty much all I have to share. You know, in terms of hands-on, I didn't want to do an unboxing video because nothing, you know, you really get just the phone in the box. You get the charging cord, and that's essentially it. That's even the reason I try to stay away from these unboxing videos nowadays, because there's really nothing to unbox, right? You already know it's just a device and a charging cord, right? And the SIM tray ejector, and that's pretty much it. So that's just my take on here. Are there things that you would like for me to test out on this phone and share with you in my full or my comprehensive review of the phone itself here? Let me know in the comment section. Did you order the phone? What is your take on this? You know, what are your first impressions? Any insights you want to share with myself and anyone watching the video? Put those in the comment section. I'm going to catch you in that comment section. I'm also going to catch you, of course, in the next video, which may be this or maybe a tablet or whatever the case may be. So up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.